Well, off to Smithfield again to try to get some Parmesan cheese, which has not been in supply for some time now. Oh, dogs. Bloody dogs. K9s everywhere. So I've got to get that, and I've got to get some of the Woolworths feta cheese, because it's the same quality as what you pay for the main product, but you save a bit of money on it, so that's always worth getting. And I think I've got pizzas on special, and I've got some I've got a ripe capsicum I can use on the topping, which will be good. Oh my god, this is pissing me off. I can't do a video around here. Just ridiculous. I bet you they're small yappy dogs. They're the worst. The bus just went by, so that's okay. Yeah, I tried the rum, by the way. I had quite a bit of it. It's actually not that strong compared to the gin. It's actually 32% by volume, so I guess it's twice as much as wine, and it's got a fairly sweet flavour. I don't think it's really a standard type of rum, the one I got, so I might have to try a more traditional one, I think. But it was okay. I didn't actually add a mixer to it. It was sweet enough as it was. It was quite sweet, and maybe it's designed for a female taste, I don't know. Yeah, just too sweet for my liking. I wouldn't have it all the time, in other words. It's just, but I'll finish off the bottle, it'll be okay. It wasn't bad. It was okay, but there's a new beef feeder that's actually in stock in Murphy's. They've actually bumped the price up about $1 a bottle, but it's 45% by volume. Now, I was pretty sure that the other one was about 40 and the cheaper ones were under 40, but I might be wrong there. It's got a slightly different blend of flavours apparently, so we'll see what it's like. I'm only getting the one bottle just to test it out, and I'm trying to find alternatives to having gin, just to mix it up a bit, have a few different types of drinks. So I might even get some brandy or something. It's just something I haven't had for a while, and yeah, there's quite a few alternatives, that's for sure. And then I'll appreciate the gin more if I have it less frequently. So just human nature, that type of thing. Tomorrow I'll be off to the GPs and the local GP, but it won't be actually their service, it's the vaccination service. It's a separate operation run from the offices of the Kawara Beach general practitioners. So yeah, I'll be down there tomorrow afternoon, and see what I'll do after that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do tomorrow. Hopefully the weather's as good as today. It's been fairly dry the last almost week now, so it's been a nice change, because we have had a lot of rain. Anyway, almost to the stop, and no doubt there'll be another dog there, although last time I was at this stop the dog wasn't around, so maybe not. But certainly in my street seems to be dog city. Oh, no cop cars today, so that's something, I suppose. Yeah, I wonder what that was all about. I could look up the crime map and find out. They'll tell you what sort of crimes are committed in specific areas, but they'll probably take a while to compile something that's just happened recently. Yeah, there's a few items missing on the Woolies shelves today. It was a very small shop I made. I got Parmesan cheese, but I only got the shaved variety, which I don't really like as much, but I think I've got that sauce, the Lantana sort of creamy sauce, which is okay, but I want to add a little bit of Parmesan on top. The shaved ones would be fine to do that with. I just don't find them as easy to distribute as the shredded variety, so I prefer that if I can get it. But yeah, it wasn't the greatest shopping. I mean, I got my medication, which is important. Still got to wait for my bus for about 15 minutes or so. So not a problem. At least I get the mask off, that's important. Doing my small bit to make this particular bus stop famous. This will be my bus banter as opposed to my beach banter, where I plan to have a few raves down by Kawara Beach. I can think of a worse place to be. But yeah, it's a bit. The Smithfield itself's busier, but they're just the shops. I mean, they're not. Well, the supermarkets certainly are not stacked properly with all the latest, with all the produce. I got most of the stuff I wanted, but I'd like to get a better variety of greens. That's a bit disappointing. I'm just, it's my primary green is really spinach. God, there's 3 buses now since I got here. 3 damn buses have turned up. None of them any use to. There you go. Yeah, so it's the other thing is I was expecting to get this variety of beefeater gin called 24, which they had the photos of in the catalogue online, but they're selling the old ones. It may be old stock. And being in the far north Queensland, God, noisy damn things these days. I wouldn't mind electric buses; they'd be nice and quiet. Yeah, that they being in far north Queensland, we've probably got the older stock. It probably takes longer for this new variety to come in. So I was interested to see what the 24 tasted like, but I've just got the standard bottle of gin. So these people are playing a play chicken with the highway. That guy is anyway. Oh, I thought it was a couple, but they're going in different directions. So this is the sort of crap you have to do. There's not that much traffic here today, but I still think it's ludicrous that there's no pedestrian crossing here. Just ridiculous. I mean, people shouldn't have to do this. This is not this day and age. Well, I've done my bit. I contacted the local state MP and their office did get back to me, but it appears as if there's no impetus to get anything done. It'd be nice to have a redevelopment of the Smithfield Shopping Centre too, but again, when and if will that happen? There was some development happening. I think it was Raintree Shopping Centre's getting refurbished. Apparently it's the oldest in Cairns. It was in Cairns Post, but of course you're going to get the cut down version of the stories on Cairns Post unless you subscribe, and I don't know anybody who subscribes to it. I suppose some people must. Probably should have got the 110 and just walked to the back to my house. It wouldn't have been bad. It's about a 25-minute walk. And people in the bus share above wearing masks. The guy's even got his kid wearing a mask, which I think is ludicrous, but, especially outdoors. I never wear them outdoors. Stop that. But New South is going to abolish the masks next month, and for some reason Queensland's different. Work that out. If anything, with our warmer weather, we should be even lower risk. So it's just insanity. But you know, don't expect governments and medical experts to be rational. Saturday, I'm back on the bike, going up to the shops again in my K9s special bike, and I've had an active day already. I actually did the mowing. I had to do, well, this area here was looking a bit like a jungle earlier today, and that's been mowed back, and I did the front as well and the other side. So yeah, I'll be pretty I'm spending a bit of energy today, which isn't a bad thing. It's about 1 o'clock, so it's going to be about the hottest time of the day, but it's only a 20-minute walk there, so I'm just interested to see how long it takes to get there by bike. And I'm just going to have my booster jab at the local GPs. So we'll see how we go. Wish me luck. I've just got my shot. I had to go through the waiting period, quarter of an hour or so. Amazing how they shuffle people around there. It's like a well-oiled machine. You've got people coming through the front door and they go into individual rooms. And then there's 9 waiting chairs where you've got to wait, you say, quarter of an hour to 20 minutes before they release you. But yeah, very impressive the way they've got the logistics sorted out. There's like a well-oiled machine. Yeah, got my water bill yesterday. It was slightly less than what I thought it might be because I had the leak in the front. I thought it might be above 200. It was 175, which is still pretty bad. and I did actually email the water people at the council, and they got back to me straight away on Friday, and they said that actually, look, I'll put this up on screen because it's a bit of bureaucratic double-speak in my opinion. But anyway, the point is they do have the ability to actually give a discount if you have a water leak and it causes you extra costs. But because my water bill was in their eyes relatively low because I've got a concession, I was unable to get any relief from that bill. So it's a one-off, and it's a lesson, I guess. If you have any suspicion of a water leak, get it done ASAP, because it's just going to get more expensive as time goes on. So that's it. The other thing is, it's not much fun wearing a mask after you've actually had a bike ride. It's only an 8-minute bike ride. It took me 8 minutes to get here. But, oh yeah, it was pretty, I was puffing a fair bit because of it. And yeah, they're not great when you're actually doing a little bit of physical exercise. So that's something to remember. Anyway, I'll get back home and back to my normal routine. Not a bad day, not too hot, but I think I've got a headwind again. Although I don't know where it's coming from. I think it's coming from the maybe northwest, so it's hard to say if it'll be easier getting back. Hopefully, I'm going downhill anyway, so it should be a little easier. Okay, hi everyone. It's the first time I've actually done a recording from my backyard for a while, several weeks at least. Well, I had the trip to Brisbane, so that was obviously out and caused a bit of disruption, but you know, it was worth doing. I've been hoping to be able to do this video for a few days, but it was just impossible, especially yesterday. It was absolutely bucketing down, and we've had probably about 3 or 4 days of fairly well torrential rain, so I'm surprised it's not swampier on the grass than it actually is, because there's just wave after wave of heavy falls coming from the Pacific Ocean, according to the radar. Yesterday just kept sweeping across. So yeah, quite a bit's happened in the world. There's actually quite good things that occurred. Not all good, but some fairly good things. One of the good things was, well, one of the really good things is that CNN, they finally ditched their boss. The excuse was something to do with an affair he was having, but I think it was more fundamentally revolving around the fact that he'd destroyed the business model of CNN. Jeff Zucker, or Zucker, whichever way I think they pronounce it Zucker over there in Yankland, but he has a reality TV background, and he's basically trashed all the credibility that CNN had built up over the years of being an informative news network. And basically the audience had disintegrated by around 90%. And under those circumstances, it's untenable for the CEO to stay on. I mean, even someone with the thick hide and thick head of Jeff Zucker, forces were obviously pushing him out, and they came up with this lame excuse about an affair, which is fairly tame by CNN standards, because some of their contributors actually masturbated on camera. This is the sort of stuff that happens in that station. It's pretty full-on sexual harassment and other things. It's just a total circus, and none of this really surprises anybody who has a disdain for that particular news network. They're not the only ones. There's a number of very woke news outlets in the US, as there are in the UK, Canada, and Australia, and I have no time for them. I just want something a little more balanced, and you know, I get most of my news from what you probably perceive as libertarian style people online. And I don't always agree with everything they say, but I do agree with a lot, and they seem to give a more accurate world view than CNN, which I don't know if CNN's going to be able to pick up the pieces and go back to the Ted Turner days when they do to actually get a great reputation for news coverage, as opposed to
crazy opinionated tabloid type crap that they've been serving up to people. People have had enough. Even Democrats are deserting them in droves. So yeah, they just couldn't keep going on. So that's really good news because they don't deserve to be a news network. I would actually make the controversial comment that I think probably up to maybe 90% of journalists don't deserve to be in the industry. They don't do their job. They're lazy, they're opinionated, they're woke, and they wouldn't be able to objectively report any story. So they're just useless, in my opinion. Not only useless, they're destructive. They're causing a lot of the way they're peddling news is giving a distorted view of the world, and there are many people who believe the garbage that they're serving up, and I think less and less it is getting better, and that's one of the signs. Other good news, really good news, is that Mark Zuckerberg's in the doo-doo with Facebook, which has tumbled in value on the stock market, and I think that's good news because I think he's a guy who unscrupulously uses people's private data for his own ends, and I have no sympathy for someone like that. And a lot of the Silicon Valley people are exactly the same boat. They offer a product that's ostensibly free, but it's not free because you're basically giving up all your personal information to third parties. And that's the business model that they seem to use, and I think it's unscrupulous, unethical, and happy to see Zucker go down in flames as far as his stock valuations are concerned. So, mind you, even the Elon Musks and Jeff Bezoses of the world have actually taken a hit with stock prices recently. But the American stock market is insanely overvalued, so it's not surprising something like that occurred. However, that's so it's actually quite a nice sunny day here today. The other good news I just got today is that it looks like Vietnam is finally opening the borders to tourism on the 15th of March. It's not official yet, but it's looking like there's a lot of lobbying taking place internally in Vietnam to have that happen. I think they've just recently opened up the actual, they've allowed more flights to go in back to the old days. So things are getting back to some level of normalcy, which is good, and that's great news. One of the really disappointing things that occurred was that the woke mob went out after Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is a very, very popular podcaster, has millions of followers, and you'd think he'd have, he signed $100 million contract, I think over 5 years. It's at a platform called Spotify, and basically he's got FU money, one would have thought. But the woke mod came after him, and they found some podcast or something that they regarded as being racist, and of course it was taken out of context. So what's new? And what really disappoints me is that someone with that sort of FU money, he didn't basically just tell them to get rooted, which is what he should do, because they're a mob. They're thugs. They're bullies. These people should be just told where to go and ignore their calls for you to show to be contrite about these things. But no, Rogan made the huge mistake of apologising, and he had nothing to apologise for. And he even said in one of his own podcasts, which Dave Rubin, another fairly popular podcaster, he had a clip of Joe Rogan saying himself that this is not what you should do. If they do come after you, you need to basically stand your ground and not kowtow to them. So what does he do? The total opposite. So very disappointing, Joe Rogan. You need to grow a pair, and you'll find that life will be better for you if it does. Rumble, who's the platform that Dave Rubin uses, actually offered Joe Rogan $100 million. They basically offered him the same money that Spotify did if he'd be prepared to leave there and move to Rumble, where there would be no censorship, because a number of Joe Rogan's podcasts have been taken off the air. So so that's disappointing. When you see people, you've got Hollywood celebs that have really got high profiles who crumble under the threat of the mob. It's just pathetic. Very few people actually stand up to them, and the ones that have stood up haven't actually had any dire consequences. They're still around. They're still breathing. More people need to do it. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great.